Okay, picture this. You're standing on a terrace. The air is warm, maybe 28 degrees, perfect breeze. You've got this panoramic view of the Andaman Sea, the water's turquoise, and you have a little cocktail with an umbrella in your hand.
I am with you so hard.
You take a sip and you think, this is it, I've made it. I'm buying a place in Phuket. It's the ultimate dream, isn't it?
It is a beautiful dream, and honestly, it's one that thousands of people chase every single year. It's that tropical finish line.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about dreams, especially real estate dreams and, foreign countries. They usually don't come with an instruction manual.
Right, and that is where the fantasy tends to hit a brick wall. Because today, we aren't just looking at the sunset.
Huh?
We are looking at the paperwork behind the sunset. We are breaking down the actual nuts and bolts process of buying property in Phuket. And honestly, reading through our research for today, it feels a bit like trying to assemble complex flat-pack furniture.
Oh, I know that feeling.
But the instructions are missing pages.
Mm.
And if you put a screw in the wrong place, you lose $100,000.
That is uncomfortably accurate. It is a legal maze. It involves international finance, local property law, and strict government compliance. But, and this is the headline for today, it is a navigable maze.
If you have the right map.
If you have the right map.
Exactly. And speaking of maps, we were working from a very specific set of blueprints today. We're unpacking a comprehensive guide titled Phuket Property Transaction Process, from deposit to title.
And we need to be crystal clear about where this intel is coming from. This isn't just a generic how-to wiki page or some, some travel blogger's anecdote.
No.
This comes from Ocean Worldwide. They are a luxury real estate agency that has been on the ground in Phuket since 2004.
Since 2004.
Yeah.
In the real estate world, especially in a developing high-growth market like that, 20 years is basically a century.
It really is. I mean, they have seen the market go through every possible cycle. We're specifically drawing on the expertise of Sandra O'Neill. She's the director there.
Right.
And she has helped literally thousands of families and property investors navigate this specific market. So when we talk about pitfalls today, these aren't hypotheticals.
These are battle scars.
They are. These are things she has seen people fall into and, more importantly, help them avoid.
That's exactly the kind of insight we need. Real-world experience. So our mission today is pretty simple. We are going to walk you, the listener, through the entire life cycle of a transaction, from that first emotional I want it moment all the way to physically holding the title deed in your hand.
We're going to cover the weird terminology like nungo and jong, the critical forms you absolutely cannot forget, and the specific taxes that can catch you off guard if you aren't paying attention.
So let's unpack this. Phase 1, you found the villa, you love it, you want to claim it before someone else does. What happens first?
The handshake, or in legal terms, the initial reservation.
Okay, the reservation. Is it just saying dibs?
In a way, yeah, but a dibs that costs actual money. This is where you sign a reservation agreement and you pay a booking fee. In Thai, this is called nogoranjang.
Nogoranjang. Got it. And practically speaking, what does this achieve? Why do I need to pay just to say I'm interested?
It does a few things. Primarily, it pauses the game. It takes the property right off the market.
Yeah.
It shows the seller you are serious, not just a window shopper or a tire kicker, as they say. It buys you time, usually about 30 days, to get your lawyers involved.
Okay, but here is where I got a little stuck in the reading. The source mentions that this fee is often non-refundable.
Yes.
That feels incredibly risky for the buyer. Why would I put money down before I've even done the legal checks?
It is a risk. You're absolutely right. But look at it from the seller's perspective.
Okay.
Taking a property off the market has a cost. If you change your mind next week because you saw a nicer pool somewhere else, the seller has lost potential buyers in the meantime. They keep the nonggonjang as compensation for that lost time.
So if I just get cold feet, or my partner decides they hate the tiles in the bathroom, the money is gone.
Correct. However, and this is where a smart lawyer comes in, you structure the reservation agreement carefully.
Right.
You want clauses that say, if we find a legal reason why this house cannot be sold, or if the title is bad, then I get my money back.
So you build in the protection.
You have to. If you don't have that clause and you find out the house is built on a swamp or doesn't have a title, you might still lose your deposit if the agreement wasn't tight.
So Ngonjong is the engagement ring. It shows commitment.
Yes.
But the wedding hasn't happened yet. Then what comes next?
The marriage license, effectively. That's the down payment, or Ngo-Dao.
Ngo-Dao. How is that different from the booking fee we just talked about?
The scale and the timing. The
Yeah.
booking fee is usually a small fixed amount. The Gonan Dao is a significant chunk of the purchase price, often 10 to 30%.
Okay, a big jump.
A very big jump. And critically, this happens after you sign the big contract, the sale and purchase agreement, or SPA.
Let's talk about the SPA, because in the source material, Ocean Worldwide calls this the blueprint of the transaction.
Because it controls everything. It details the price, the payment schedule, the transfer dates, the warranties. It is the rule book for the deal. If it's not in the SPA, it doesn't exist.
And there was one detail here that I thought was crucial, maybe even a bit surprising for an international transaction.
The language.
The language requirement.
Yes. The contract must be in Thai, obviously, because the property is in Thailand. But for you as a foreign buyer, it absolutely must be in English as well.
You have to know exactly what you're signing.
Exactly.
That seems like common sense, but I bet people get so excited they just sign whatever is put in front of them, right?
They do. Oh, the agent said it's standard.
It's standard, yeah.
Let me tell you, standard contract is the most dangerous phrase in real estate. There's no such thing. And this is what Sandra O'Neill and her team emphasize. You need to know the exit clauses.
Right.
Under what specific conditions can I walk away and get my money back? If that isn't crystal clear in the English version of the SPA, you are walking on very thin ice.
Okay, so we've paid the Ngoyan we're looking at the SPA. Now we enter phase 2. The source calls this due diligence, but I like to think of it as the detective phase.
This is the non-negotiable step. I mean, if there is one takeaway from Ocean Worldwide's experience, it is this. Do not cut corners here. Trying to navigate Thai property law without a professional lawyer is, to quote the source directly, a recipe for disaster.
But play devil's advocate for a second. If I'm buying from a nice seller, maybe an expat returning home or a big glossy developer with billboards everywhere, can I just trust them?
Trust, but verify. Always verify. Because nice doesn't mean legally compliant. A good lawyer does way more than just read the contract. They are investigating the history of the land itself.
Okay, so what are they looking for? Skeletons in the closet?
Sometimes literally. But usually it's more mundane and more expensive skeletons. They are checking the title deed first. It sounds obvious, but you have to confirm the person selling the house actually owns it.
Surely that doesn't happen. People selling houses they don't own.
It happens more often than you'd think in international markets. Or, here's a common one. Maybe they own it, but they share ownership with a spouse or a sibling who is back in Europe and hasn't agreed to the sale.
Oh, wow.
You sign the contract, you send the money, and then the brother shows up saying, hey, that's half mine. I didn't say you could sell it.
And you're stuck.
Suddenly, you are in a legal battle you did not ask for.
That is a nightmare. What else are they digging for?
Encumbrances.
Good word. Sounds heavy. What's an encumbrance?
It's anything that burdens the property, a mortgage, a lien, a debt. If the seller owes money to a bank and has used the land as collateral, you need to know that.
Because you could end up inheriting that problem.
You could theoretically buy the property and inherit the debt. You don't want to buy a house and find out the bank is about to foreclose on it because the previous guy didn't pay his loan.
You pay for the house, and then the bank comes knocking. That is a sobering thought.
It is. And they also check building permits. Just because a villa is standing there doesn't mean it was built legally.
Right. Just because it has a roof and a pool doesn't mean the government knows about it.
Exactly. Did they have permission to build that second floor? Is the swimming pool encroaching on public land or a national park boundary?
So the government could technically make you tear it down.
They could.
Tearing down your dream villa. Okay, point taken. Lawyer up.
And physically inspect it, too.
Yeah.
Ocean Worldwide advises checking everything. Termites, structural cracks, plumbing. In a tropical climate, things degrade faster. Don't let the nice view distract you from the cracks in the foundation.
So, due diligence is done. We know what we're buying. We know who really owns it. Now let's move to phase 3, the money maze.
This is where a lot of foreign buyers get tripped up because the logic is a bit different than what you might be used to back home.
Right. There was this specific rule mentioned in the guide about foreign currency. This confused me. Can you explain that?
This is the critical rule for non-Thai residents.
Yeah.
You cannot just walk into Thailand with a suitcase of cash. And this is the part that catches people out. You generally shouldn't just use a Thai bank account if you already have one with BAD in it.
Wait, so if I've been working in Bangkok for a few years and I have a Thai bank account with savings in it, I can't use that money to buy a villa.
Not if you want to register the property in your name as a foreigner. The funds must be brought into Thailand in a foreign currency, US dollars, euros, pounds, whatever, and then converted into Thai baht inside Thailand.
Why? That seems like an extra unnecessary step. Why does the government care what currency it was in?
It's all about the paper trail for the land department.
Okay.
This leads us to the golden ticket of the transaction, the FET form.
The FET, what does that stand for?
Foreign exchange transaction form. Sometimes
Yeah.
you'll see it called the FTF.
And why is this form so important? Is it just bureaucratic red tape?
It is the most important red tape you will ever deal with. This document proves to the Thai government that money came from abroad, specifically for the purpose of buying property. Without this form, the land department effectively says, we don't know where this money came from, maybe it's illegal, and they will not register the transfer of ownership.
So no FET form, no house.
Basically, yes. It is that binary. You cannot put the title in your name without it.
Wow.
And Sandra O'Neill points out, you need this form if you ever want to sell the property and take your money out of Thailand later. It works both ways.
Okay, listener, tattoo FE form on your arm if you have to. That sounds vital.
It really is. And this ties into the payment logistics. You have the reservation deposit, then the down payment, then the final balance. Because of the complexity of moving large sums of money internationally, exchange rates, clearing times, many lawyers offer escrow services.
Escrow's like a holding tank, right?
Exactly. You send the money to the lawyer's secure account, they hold it, they only release it to the seller once the title has been successfully transferred.
So it protects you.
It protects you from sending a huge chunk of money and then the seller disappears.
Which, again, circles back to having a trustworthy lawyer and agency like Ocean Worldwide guiding you. You don't want to just Venmo the seller.
Please do not Venmo the seller.
Okay, so we have the money, we have the FET forms, the due diligence is clear. Now we go to phase 4, transfer day.
The big day. This happens at the land department.
Paint the scene for us. What is it like? Is it a sleek digital experience?
Not exactly. It's a government office. It's busy. Lots of paperwork shuffling, queues, stamps thumping. It's very analog. You or your representative need to be there with a literal stack of documents.
What's in the stack?
Passports. And they need to check your current visa pages. The original title deed, the shenote, the FET forms we just talked about, the SPA. And if you are buying a resale property, you need the Tabian Ban.
The Tabian Ban, that's the house book, right?
Yes, usually it's the blue book. It tracks the official registration of the house itself. It's not the ownership document, that's the shenote, but it records who officially lives there for administrative purposes.
Now, a practical question. What if I can't be there? What if I'm back in London or New York on transfer day, working to pay for this villa?
This is very common. You can use a power of attorney or a POA.
Okay.
You legally empower your lawyer to sign for you. But the POA has to be very specific and drafted correctly for the land department to accept it. You can't just scribble a note saying, Dave can sign for me.
Right, it has to be official.
It has to be the official land department format.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we have to talk about the part everyone dreads. The bill. Not the house price, but the extra stuff. The taxes.
The receipt, yes. The source breaks this down really clearly, and it's important because it can add up to a significant amount of money.
So, walk us through the list. What are we paying?
First, the transfer fee. This is standard. It's typically 2% of the appraised value of the property.
And who pays that? The buyer or the seller?
It's negotiable. Often, it is split 50-50 between buyer and seller. But that isn't a law. It's a convention. It must be written in the SPA. If you don't specify, you might end up paying the whole thing.
Okay, what's next?
Then there are the taxes that are technically the seller's responsibility, but they affect the negotiation price. There's stamp duty, which is 0.5%. There's income tax, which is roughly 1%.
That sounds manageable. 1.5% total. I can live with that.
But wait, there is the business tax?
Done and done. That sounds ominous. How bad is it?
It's a hefty 3.3%.
Ouch. 3.3% of the total price. That is a lot of money on a luxury villa.
Yeah.
That could be tens of thousands of dollars.
It is. But here's where it gets fascinating. There is a rule. Let's call it the 5-year rule.
I'm listening.
This specific business tax applies if the seller has owned the property for less than 5 years.
Oh, okay.
The government does this to discourage flipping, buying, and selling quickly for profit.
So if they're flipping it, they pay the penalty.
Correct. But if the seller has owned the property for more than 5 years, or if their name has been on the Tabian Ban for more than 1 year, the business tax disappears.
It just vanishes.
Poof. It is replaced by the stamp duty, which is only 0.5%.
Wow. So the difference between buying from someone who has owned it for 4 years versus 6 years is almost 3% of the price.
Exactly. Which is why, during the negotiation phase, you need to know how long the seller has owned it.
That is a huge leverage point.
It is. If you know the seller is liable for that 3.3% tax because they're selling early, they might try to push some of that cost onto you during negotiations.
Sneaky, but smart? This is why you need an expert like Sandra O'Neill in your corner asking these questions. Hey, how long have you owned this? Creates a totally different negotiation.
Precisely. You need to know what the seller's tax liability is so you can negotiate the final price effectively. If you don't know the math, you can't win the negotiation.
So transfer day is a lot of math and document shuffling.
It is. But once the math is done, the taxes are paid and the official stamps are stamped. We reach phase 5, the finish line.
The handover.
The final checks are signed, often right there at the land department. The official records are updated in the government database. And then the magic happens.
The keys.
The keys, yes. But more importantly, the shenote.
The title deed. Describe it for us.
It's the official government document. It has the Garuda symbol on top, the mythical bird emblem of Thailand. It looks very official, usually on special paper. And crucially, on the back of that document, it will now have your name printed.
That has to be a pretty incredible feeling.
It is the physical proof. The source material emphasizes this. Keep this document safe, like incredibly safe.
Safety deposit box safe.
Safety deposit box safe. It is the only thing that matters in the eyes of the law regarding your ownership.
Don't use it as a coaster. Got it.
Please don't. Replacing a lost shenote is a process you do not want to go through.
So we've gone from a handshake and a deposit through the scary due diligence and the detective work, navigated the foreign currency maze and the Veti Quorum, survived the tax calculation, and now we own a slice of paradise.
That is the journey.
When you lay it out like that, step by step, it actually seems manageable.
It is manageable. That's the key takeaway here. Ocean Worldwide makes the point that it only becomes a nightmare if you rush or if you ignore the paperwork. If you respect the process works.
And if you have the right guide.
Absolutely. We've mentioned them throughout, but this deep dive was based on the comprehensive guide from Ocean Worldwide. Sandra O'Neill and her team have been doing this in Phuket since 2004. They know the land department officers, they know the pitfalls, and they know the market.
If you are listening to this and thinking, okay, I'm ready to look at some villas, or if you just want to read the guide we talked about today to see the details on those taxes, you need to go to oceanwwp.com. That's ocean-wwp.com.
They have listings, they have more guides, and most importantly, they have the experience to stop you from making a rookie mistake.
So, zooming out a bit, we started this by talking about the dream versus the reality. What does this deep dive change for us?
I think it changes how we view ownership.
How so?
We often think ownership is about paying the money. I paid for it, it's mine. That's the consumer mindset.
Right.
But in a foreign legal system, ownership isn't about the transaction of money. It's about the transaction of compliance.
That's interesting. Ownership is compliance.
Exactly. The FET form, the shenote, the correct tax payments, the paper trail legitimizes the dream. You can pay for the villa, but without the paper trail, you're just a guest in your own home. The paperwork is what makes the paradise yours.
That is a powerful thought to end on. It's not just about the view, it's about the verification.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for diving in with us today. Check out oceanwwp.com, do your due diligence, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.
Safe investing, everyone.
Bye.